I mean, do you to give you an idea how many copies they've sold?
I could ask them. Here's the thing. I've been telling people that they're in Spain. I was actually wrong. They're in Portugal. That's a profound difference, right? Mm-hmm. They're sweet people.
Yes, Portugal's the fine country where they beat up Ethan Ralph.
Oh, that's right. That's fucking beautiful. But basically, if it wasn't, they're like 8 hours or more ahead there. So if it's 7 p.m. here where I am, it's like it's either really early morning or middle of the fucking night there. I would be remiss to bother them. But hey, we live. I'm going to go give the link to people who wanted that link. Is the link out yet?
The tweet is.
Yeah, that's what I was about. That was what it was about. So I will.
Oh man! So who are you people, and where is my podcast?
You mean because
question
it's
of the day?
You mean because it's actually on topic
I haven't
for
even
once?
started drinking yet.
It's on topic for once, and you're confused, Church? Is that what's going on?
Well, I mean, do we want to open with?
I don't even know what the topic is. I have a review of a cigarette machine, some musings about Magic the Gathering's latest set, and a rant about Cricket Mobile.
Well, and I saw a UFO. So.
And Larry saw the Woman King and made other bad life decisions.
Did I just break everybody by telling them that I actually came? What's the topics?
I more importantly saw the latest, I think, Lupin the Third movie.
I don't know. It's like,
I mean, okay. I'm down for discussing actual comics, but then I brought to the bullshit potluck men and men's issues and manly things.
I was about to say, yeah, Rune shows up to the party and all he came with was more men.
Look, there's nothing gay about coming to a party with a bunch of dudes.
As long as you keep your socks on.
All right, everybody, sock check.
I mean, I'm wearing them.
I'm not.
I got all three socks.
I am not.
Oh, God.
I am barefoot and ready to party.
I'm wearing slippers. Does that count?
Well, look, I've already brought it up.
No, that's actually even gayer than being barefoot. Congratulations.
Well, they're like moccasin slippers. They're like fur lined and shit.
Well, look, I already brought it up. We're already goofing around about it. So why don't Larry and I, since we actually brought the reading material, just get the discussion of men out of the way, and then we get on to better issues and racism time and comics. We just have the men go in front of the line because they're men.
All right, everybody, get to the front of the line and bend over.
Well, men, the book in page 1 says it's satirical, as in the satyr satirical, which means it's satirical and also bloody.
Sorry.
Oh, it's gonna be all these kinds of jokes.
So you see, when you're making a character, you roll with a D12 because the D12 is the manliest dice. Why? So all rolls are decided by D12s.
Why is the D12 the manliest dice, though?
Because that's the number of inches that go on your dick.
I was just about to make a joke about what if you're under that.
Yeah, what if you're a D4 kind of guy?
Well, then considering
you have to flip coins because you're only a D2.
I mean, considering that combat is resolved by dick size, if you have a D4 dick, you got a problem.
And you get your 6 basic statistics: balls, brains, and brawn. that I'm remembering that correctly, Rune?
Yes. I mean, I can pull it up, but I think the first thing we should actually talk about is the praises for men on page 4.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely back to sexism time.
So let's see. I found this work to be very inspiring. Ted Bundy. This book helped me solve all my domestic problems. O.J. Simpson. A game that prepares kids for the future. Satan.
It's always good to get a glowing recommendation from the big downstairs.
I'm going to skip ones that. Well, I mean, wait a minute. Susan's out of office. Do we give a shit if YouTube would complain?
No, dude,
No.
we've been trying to get banned for months.
Right. So better
I
than
actually
an
got
aggravated.
excited looking at. Hold on.
Okay,
I actually got excited setting the show up because I looked at the YouTube studio, and we had a notification that there had been some warning activity, and then I remembered it was from back in 2020 when I was showing magic cards that were basically titty pictures.
Right. So better than an aggravated rape and a genocide in Africa. Colonel Gaddafi.
Ooh.
All right.
A very honest depiction of our movement. Andrea Dworkin.
So along these lines, Poe's Law posted on Twitter earlier today, post something below in this thread that would make Hitler cry.
Yeah.
And I had to point out that the leader of the white nationalist movement, America's First, was a homosexual Hispanic boy named Nick Fuentes.
Okay. I mean, the other people giving praises are the Pope, some dude, Tolkien,
some dude,
the Lord High Super Dragon Wizard of the Real KKK times 9,000. But the one that actually matters, the one that I feel needs to be the last praise that I quote is, as far as fiction goes, this book is worse than the Holocaust. Muhammad al-Hamajid. So Muhammad says this is worse than the Holocaust. So Larry, do you want to read the opening introductory scroll, or shall I?
I mean, I think we're summarizing because we do have quite a few things to bring up.
Yeah, it's rude.
The other three stats are hatred, horniness, and hunger.
Well, and boners.
Oh yes, I forgot boners. Boners were also a stat.
Boners.
Doesn't that go into horniness though?
No, boners are superpowers. Boners give you power.
Hell yeah.
There is a notation about the question of what about women? Women can be found in the equipment section.
All right. I'm going to step away for a second and cycle the internet because I'm catching about 1/4 of what you guys are saying. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's get into the perfectly reasonable reaction that Drive-Thru RPG had about this book.
Well, to be clear, let's. I want to walk through the crime step by step. So they put it up. Miguel and Sylvia, the man-wife team that are the sum total of the Red Room, and they said we're probably going to get some flack for this. They knew they were pushing the line. I don't blame them, but they knew they were doing it. In the way of things, someone complained. Right? And
naturally.
And it was pulled, right, to be reviewed. Okay, this was expected. This is a policy that Drive-Thru RPG put in that negatively affects sales at the end of the day for being offensive. Because the longer your book is not on the shelf is more income in the immediate early buying days you're missing out on.
Right.
Right. They went on Twitter and they said, they pulled our book because somebody complained. That sucks. Right? The process as described in the policy is when we pull your work, we will give you a warning and we will communicate with you. There was no communication.
Oh, imagine my shock.
Under a recent policy implementation, if you have a product on DriveThruRPG and it gets pulled and you go to public media and complain about it, it is called hostile marketing. They basically presume without proof that you were doing it on purpose to make sales, and they kick you from the site. But they're still supposed to warn you. And there was no warning.
Well, why would there be? Come on now.
Even though it says in their bylaws there's a warning, that there's a system in place. So another indie creator named Grim Jim from Postmortem Studios, check him out, he's pretty cool. He runs Tabletop Lists for people who like titties and D&D. Sent them a carefully worded, structured email basically saying, hi, I'm an indie creator. I just heard this happens to the Red Room, which is the people who publish Men. And it gives me concerns about my future as a creator if I should transgress the line. Can you tell me more, or can you give me advice? And what DriveThruRPG said, which can be found in a video that Grim Jim has put forward, was incredibly condescending, where they basically implied that the Red Room was up to no good, that they had had a negative relationship with DriveThruRPG forever, and that they just weren't good people who don't deserve to have a place in the marketplace. And this has harmed the Red Room intensely.
So, quick question.
Okay.
Was the part of them being up to no good kind of true?
More than one person in the aftermath has come forward and say, well, guys, you are provocateurs. You do have racy products. You were playing with fire.
That's like when we eventually get banned from YouTube and they're like, oh, you whippersnappers, you guys were up to some no good and some mischief. We'd be like, yeah, you got us.
Everybody who says this also says what you did deserved a talking to, not a banning.
Yes.
and that more importantly, DriveThruRPG has to follow its own rules, if nothing else. Right? The idea that anyone's livelihood can be unilaterally taken away by a practical monopoly over tabletop role-playing games in the digital print arena is offensive and wrong. Now,
more importantly, it's a violation of how contract law works.
Right. Now, thankfully, there are other places to get this. You can get a physical copy at Lulu for now. You can get a digital copy at Big Geek Emporium, who have a stated goal of we don't give a shit about your politics. Which is where I got my copy for this show. There's places to get it. But with the way market share works, they're still missing out on a vast amount of income, because DriveThruRPG is to tabletop RPGs what Steam is to digital distribution for video games. Right? You can have your Origin and your EA whatever bullshit, but you're still never going to be Steam. It's getting worse because now, having expressed their displeasure at getting punted and getting some support from the community, of course, the shills who think they can win points either with Leftoids or with DriveThruRPG or whatnot, or Daniel Fox, who is desperate to be relevant after losing big on his game Zweihander, which I bought, Daniel. Fuck you. They're coming out and they're saying, well, your game was offensive. Your game was a piece of shit. It didn't deserve to exist. Meaning that...
Well, that's rude.
Right.
I don't remember having that conversation with that fellow.
Right. No, that's the thing. The real problem here is self-appointed, unelected individuals, and it'd be worse if they were elected, frankly, making themselves the moral guardians of what you can and cannot consume, as long as it's legal. And there's nothing in Men that's illegal. It's offensive. It's stupid, but that's the joke. It's fun, right? And this is literally
fun.
And I hate fun, and I'm saying this is okay fun. What the hell? Because the no fun allowed police are in force. And and there's the usual rigmarole of character assassination going on. People think that the Red Room made the book themselves when they didn't. They just published it, and Miguel did layout. Right? There are people who think that they're anti-women. It's like, dude, the Red Room has a woman in it. It's a man-wife pair. It's a 2-person team. It can't get more balanced and equal between sexual dimorphism than the two of them. And quite frankly, of the two of them, I have often said, like, Miguel is all business. Sylvie is the one that's kind of silly, in a good way. She's great. Although apparently Miguel gets when Miguel was working on it, he had a hell of a time because he would stop writing and start laughing because it's just full of batshit ridiculous. Oh God, yes.
So there's a random chart where if you roll poorly, you can get gonorrhea.
Excellent.
And if I had a nickel.
In preparing for show tonight, I was telling the guys about show. I said, in my opinion, although we are all different people, this show is the intended audience for this game.
I bought it mainly,
hands down.
I bought this book mainly because I'm like going like, okay, this looks like it's going to be hilarious. I will never play this most likely, but it looks hilarious.
That's the thing. I would never play it. I find its content reasonably offensive, but I also find it hilarious. As a collector, I would want it. Right? I might play it for a lark with the right kind of shitlords. Hi, guys.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I can absolutely see that if Ayrton was like, oh yeah, I like role-playing games. I didn't think I was going to be into this nerd shit, but I am. And we're like, hey, Ayrton, do you want to play this game for men about men? He'd be like, I'll buy a game about men for men.
Let's just appreciate Church's new lower tag.
Asshole in chief?
Yeah.
I mean, accurate.
Oh, wait, what does mine say?
First of the lackeys.
Okay.
I mean, again,
Feel free
accurate.
to set your own. I just turned that feature
I-
on.
I don't know
How do you do that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's under. Oh, you can change it where you change your display name.
Yeah, it says name and headline.
Yeah, I turned headlines on.
Oh, so I could just put my name and then put in tights underneath.
Yes,
You know, because we're manly men in tights.
correct.
In tights.
Savior of the bringer of content. Man,
So,
embarrassment. Accurate. Accurate.
So,
You know, the wife and I were
tonight's-
discussing the validity of furries in general earlier tonight.
Look, tonight's show is a show about truth and truthiness.
So, as a balance for men, I saw The Woman King, which was not just bad, but vile.
Saw the
Well,
what?
Wait a minute, Larry.
Mhm.
Because we just talked about it. You know, according to Drive-Thru RPG, men is the most offensive possible thing, and no one should want to play it. So, I mean, how much worse could the Woman King possibly be? Clearly, that's the Oscar bait of the season.
How bad could the Woman King be? It's literally killing RuneKnight live on
It
air.
is. It is.
So,
I'm trying to
Talking
make.
about it has given him AIDS.
I'm trying to make the joke, but it's like my throat is full of tumors.
So, The Woman King, what makes it so vile is like historical dramas, especially historical war/action dramas. They're not accurate. You know that walking in.
Yeah.
But this was about a character who, in history, who fought, the French and other African tribals to maintain the slave trade and grow her tribal nation's portion
Joan
of
of Arc,
slave trade.
right?
No. No. And so instead, this movie decided to make it all about how her nation decided they didn't want to be a part of the slave trade, except, they
They
were.
did.
And they were. And also made her a very victorious general, whereas her most common battles were her tribe against, the French military. The French lost like 5 people, and she lost like 500.
I mean, omelets and eggs, Larry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Larry. You've reminded me of something for after this.
Mm-hmm. And the show, the movie, focused on the training of this elite woman force, becoming, warriors and stuff, and how they would torture themselves. And
Is this a Marvel movie?
No, this is not a Marvel movie.
Oh,
but
okay.
these
Black
are
Panther 3.
characters. These are characters that actually inspired the female warriors in Wakanda. And several of the female warriors in Wakanda also played female warriors in this movie.
Well, yeah, because who else are you going to get?
And there was a subplot with a black guy from Brazil whose mother was a slave, and then he came back to Africa, and he was trying to help these poor people.
Aren't most people from Brazil German?
No. You're thinking Argentina.
Oh, I am. That's right. I get all those Mexican countries mixed up.
Right, yeah.
It's quite all right. Quite all right. And it was, of course, they had to add in the subplot, because it's not bad enough that they mangled history. So the woman king had a protege, up-and-coming young woman warrior who was her secret child that was produced by her being raped by the king of the rival empire.
So wouldn't that child be the king?
No.
I think that's how it works.
It's not actually. You can be of the blood, but you have to be confirmed to actually be a monarch.
Right.
That's why
not
bastards
king.
don't get it.
This was not king in the sense of king as in you ruled something. This king is in a title given to you as an honorific.
Mm. So what I want to know is what the fuck this has to do with Amelia Earhart.
It doesn't.
What?
Oh.
But on the flip side,
I keep bringing up prominent women in history until I find the right one.
on the flip side, I watched something else that involved women. 2 things, actually. Let me get the other bad thing involving women that I watched coming out. But it was funny, much like Men was funny, and that was the latest episode of South Park.
Oh, that was so good.
I haven't watched South Park in like 15 years.
Well, this is like South Park decided that they were going to wake up from being kind of just average. So this was all about making fun of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, but not just making fun of them, making fun of the concept of brands. Like, for example, Church, do you have a brand?
I mean, no.
But you know that there are people out there who have a personal brand.
Oh yeah, they would look at all the stuff that I've done to create this Church character as a brand.
Yes, but this is just you fucking around.
Yeah, this is just me being a piece of shit on the internet.
And Matt and Trey did their research about how branding consultants helped mold young Meghan Markle into a professional actress, and how crisis management, brand management consultants focus on how people are secretly victims of something, because everybody loves a victim.
I've never understood how people could be so caught up in the bullshit of the royals, because, I mean, let's be completely honest. Aren't they all inbred fucks anyway?
Yes, and German.
So, Harry,
I get having a little bit of reverence for the Queen because she was like 415,000 years old, but beyond that, no. We've got her pedophile. We've got her pedophile son cavorting around with Jeffrey Epstein. We've got her kids and grandkids running around being fucking buffoons, and in general, like
one more Nazi costume though.
No, that's what we're talking about. Who's turned into a giant bloviating a-hole.
Yeah, and then he got married to Meghan Markle and gave up his guns because they were too violent.
I mean, look, the deep dark secret is that the Queen didn't die; she just gave up.
But the plot is, of course, how they show up. They demand everybody pay attention to them while saying that they want their privacy. And now Harry and Meghan's attorneys are carefully looking over not just this episode, but all future episodes to try to come up with a way to sue South Park.
So here's what I need out of life based on that discussion. I need Matt and Trey Parker to basically create a standalone movie in the style of South Park that just depicts the final battle of the immortals Keith Richards and the Queen of England having this massive sword fight amongst themselves.
Well,
until Keith Richards finally bests the Queen of England, cuts her head off, and releases her quickening.
Well, remember, it was the quickening. There were 3 of them, but someone killed Betty White. So,
but the other fascinating
there could only be one.
Matt and Trey have previously made fun of Prince William and his wife.
Oh shit! Wait a minute! The Queen is dead. Keith Richards won.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
He has the prize.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
But they made fun of Prince William, and they referenced his subtle, little-known love of pegging by having him rip his bride's arm off of himself and stick it up his mom.
It was a very subtle way to bring that up.
As is tradition.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did at my wedding.
My favorite part of this episode, though, is how they only refer to him as the Prince of Canada and the Prince of Canada's wife.
Yeah,
that got me,
because that's actually a legal strategy. It's like, well, like, we didn't refer to you,
right?
We said the Prince of Canada. That could be any Prince of Canada.
So, with that in mind, gonna segue here because we're somehow still in a very intellectual and enlightened.
We're talking about South Park.
I know
we are. South Park is some big brain shit, man.
But here's the thing. We're gonna get for a moment. We're gonna touch on men again by pointing out that Trace Parker and Matt Stone made a comedy porno called Orgasmo.
Mm-hmm.
They also made Basketball, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah.
And it had
Orgasmo is actually funnier.
It is, and the thing is its primary song, its anthem, which was done by 3 Shades of Brown, is called "Now You're a Man," and it is the manliest song ever. Right? So somehow the guys who made South Park aren't getting in the neck for being manly, but Red Room does. That's fucked up. But what I was actually going to comment on, because I said I had something after Woman King, is Hollywood is gearing up for another fuck up of that magnitude, Larry. Maybe you haven't heard about this. I thought it was a fever dream at first, but it's real. I wish it was a fever dream. FX is going to do a limited series of Great Expectations. Okay, now that's fine. Like, Great Expectations is a big thing, and everybody cares. So Pip is going to be played by some guy named. I was just looking at it, and now it's gone. Some white guy, young, handsome. It's fine. Mrs. Haversham's being played by an older English actress. She's probably gonna be really good, but there's a problem. There's something wrong in the state of early Victorian England in Dickens. See, there's a young woman named Shalom, right? Shalom Brune Franklin, playing Estella. Now, I've not read Great Expectations. It's a horrible gap in my background. I don't know if there's a romantic interaction between Pip, who's being played by Fionn Whitehead, that's it, and Estella. But
I don't remember if Estella was his romantic interest.
But FX is certainly going in that direction. And in a period piece set, I want to restate, in the early Victorian era in England, which is renowned for being kind of fucking racist, right?
Oh,
Miss
it looks
Shalom
like
is a woman of color. Estella is being played by a woman of color having an implicit romantic relationship with a white dude in Victorian England in a historical.
Yeah,
that
no, that's
tweet,
the new goal for historicals.
That doesn't fucking work!
that tweet
Well, I
you
mean,
sent,
sure.
Larry.
Huh?
That tweet you sent, Larry. The discussing film tweet has been deleted.
What?
It does appear that it has been deleted. Well, when did they post? No, that was February 10th. Never mind. That was 9 days ago. That's why I couldn't find it. I'm trying to pull it up, but I'm having a problem.
I mean, by the same token, because I also give a shit about this, we can talk about what they're doing to Ronald Dahl's work, because that's, literature to literature. Yeah. And that pisses me off to no end.
Well, I want to save the bacon on that because I want to tie up a little thread I had because I watched the Lupin the Third movie, Lupin the Third versus the Cat's Eyes.
Yeah, we need a chaser following all that awfulness.
Are you familiar with Lupin the Third as a character in the anime and manga sphere, Rune?
Yes, I'm not a fan, but I'm familiar with it. I understand why it's popular.
So, Ayrton, you're not familiar. Church might be familiar. Lupin the Third is a lovable, charismatic rogue of the thief who steals from the bad guys.
That surprises me because I could actually see an environment where Ayrton would know Lupin the Third, but he would know it not for Lupin because he doesn't give a shit about that, but because of Lupin's not girlfriend with the huge tits.
Oh, I'm gonna look this up now. How do you spell this?
Lupin, Lupin, the Third.
Third. Okay.
Yeah. I want to say her name's. Is it Masato?
I'm just putting girlfriend because her name doesn't matter.
Correct.
Craig.
So this movie was about 3 pictures being stolen because they were treasure map to secret Nazi power and gold.
Hold on. Does this have any relevance to the anime Lupin the Third?
Yes,
it does. Yes,
the manga rather.
Yes.
This chick.
Volume.
Yes, that exact chick who is in this movie.
Oh, all right.
Volume 1, eloquently subtitled "Monkey Punch." I'm invested now.
Okay, cool.
Wait, I feel like I've seen clips from this.
You probably
Lupin the Third is like an anime from the 80s that's still going.
The art style looks very, very familiar.
It's very similar to. It's very similar to the Mad Artist, and I believe that Lupin the Third might be from the 80s, but the manga started in the 60s. It's been around forever.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another anime / manga that had a very similar style too?
Several.
Several.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's also G-Force and Gigantor.
One Punch Man has a very similar style, doesn't it?
Yes, but that's an homage to that older style.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the basic plot is there were 3 pictures that have secret Nazi treasure maps in them. And Lupin's stealing them because he doesn't want the Nazis to have access to the secret Nazi treasure.
I'm sure Lupin would like the secret treasure because he's not exactly Robin Hood.
No. I mean, you can't be a globe-spanning thief, on goodwill. You need somebody to be able to do that. You got to finance yourself. There's a rival team of thieves called the Cat's Eyes who are also trying to steal these pictures, but they're stealing them because their dad made them. And they want to get their dad's pictures back. And they run afoul of an international arms dealing syndicate that is trading stolen art to finance arms deals. Because, if you're selling nuclear weapons to people, banks aren't going to take your check. You're not going to be able to get a check from a bank either. And gold.
I'm sorry.
And gold's a little bit more difficult to ship around.
For clarity, just in case you know, because maybe you do, maybe you don't, maybe our viewers, if there are any, know or don't. Lupin the Third is also where we get the TV trope, crouching moron, hidden badass.
Yes.
Because Lupin is chased by his version of Gerard
Javert.
or Javert. I mean, both, because the fugitive is basically Les Mis in modern day.
Right.
But Inspector Zenigata is a affable dipshit who cannot catch Lupin the Third. He couldn't catch Clap at a whorehouse if Lupin was there. But
he always ends up being just on Lupin's heels.
And he is one of the most brilliant detectives in the world. He's actually really good at the job. But Lupin has, like, mad luck, plot armor, bullshit powers.
And he's got good friends. Like, one's a samurai.
Mm-hmm.
One's a tough guy in a hat with a gun who drives the car.
Yeah.
Kato.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kato with a beard.
Yeah.
Kato had a beard.
No. Kato did
no,
not.
like.
Oh wait, no,
like,
that was Grizzly Adams. My bad.
Yeah. So Lupin is confronted by the fact that these three girls are wanting to steal their dad's paintings, but he failed their father, so he has to keep them safe in all these shenaniganery. But he ends up reluctantly having to accept their help because, they are there. And they are competent, spy / thief / ninja girls.
Okay.
And his girlfriend with the big tits that Ayrton pulled up previously, she is working for the bad guys, but she's working for the bad guys because she plans to steal everything she can from the bad guys.
I mean, here's the thing. Lupin the Third is not my particular jam, but I will say that in an era of modern lumbering, beat stick, grimdark, spies beat people to death type entertainment, Lupin the Third is a lovely throwback to Sean Connery era James Bond style shenanigans.
But the reason I brought this up is all of the female characters were competent. They didn't yell and scream.
Lupin's brilliant, but he's a dipshit.
Yes.
Always has
been. And when very large men were physically assaulting these women, they were in danger. And not only did the men sometimes save them, they also saved the men sometimes too. It's almost like these were well-written characters with strong personalities.
You mean unlike Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
Yes.
Why don't you? That's a wonderful segue, Ayrton. Tell us a story.
Honestly, there's not a lot to tell. The movie was super boring, and I got really distracted.
You saw it?
Yeah, I told you I saw it.
Yeah, he saw it.
Oh.
But
when you ask,
wait.
Ayrton, tell us about Daddy Kang.
Hold up. So you're now the person who's consuming the Marvel trash?
Apparently.
For the show?
Okay. Wakanda or Marvel's Race War, I still say that's my second favorite Marvel movie. Like, unironically, that movie was great. This was just boring.
Okay, but tell us about Daddy Kang, and tell us about somehow fucking up MODOK worse than the Patton Oswalt MODOK show.
I'm trying to think of where to even start.
Can we start by agreeing that this picture of Miss Marvel with Kamala Khan kind of looks like some of those weird Japanese bondage pornos we see previews for?
Oh yeah, it looks like Monica Rambeau's coming out of a vagina and Carol Danvers is coming out of a butthole. That one?
Yeah.
The obvious intimation is that somebody really wanted to do Power Rangers but didn't know how to do it.
Well, they've definitely got the New York "fuck you" motion down pretty good.
The irony is, and I'm sorry to say this because the woman who plays Monica Rambeau is not terrible at it.
Yes, she is.
No.
Did you see what Dr. Strange?
No, Monica Rambeau's a decent character. No,
I'm talking about the actress.
Strange?
I'm talking about the actress.
Yeah, in Multiverse of Madness, is that not the same actress?
No,
it wasn't.
She was in WandaVision. That's what you're thinking, Eric.
Oh,
yeah.
Where she was saying it's okay that you mind control the whole town.
Yeah, but
it's fine.
What I'm getting at though is that I watched the first episode of Kamala Khan show, which I'm going to call Kamala Khan show because I cannot enunciate the differential between Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel successfully. They're the same fucking character with a paint job. I hate this trend at Marvel. It fucking sucks. IP identity is important, assholes. The thing is that the young girl is not a bad actress. She's getting bad material.
And
right?
she does what she can with it.
I am not surprised one whit that on the Marvels, which has been rolled back another year, guys, it's never going to come out.
Well, no, it's going to come out in November.
I am not surprised that she, quote, stole the show from Monica Rambeau, who hasn't had good product to work with, and Brie Larson, who has the acting capacity of a 2x4. I want to apologize. I want to apologize to my 2x4 brethren because Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddy was a better actor.
Well, hold up. She's good in actual movies.
Brie Larson?
Yes, she's been in actual Academy Award-winning movies, and she's done fine.
Okay.
Whenever she's in popcorn consumable movies, she's been terrible.
Also, right. You clearly have seen movies I have not seen.
Also, there's Unicorn Store, which is not only terrible, but racist as well. Incredibly racist. And it's part of her racism against people from India, which makes her co-starring with Kamala Khan more interesting to me.
Wasn't Kamala Khan Paki, not Indian?
Yep.
Don't they hate each other?
Yes.
They do.
Yes, but Brie Larson doesn't understand the difference between those people.
How? One doesn't eat pork, one worships cows. I mean,
not all of them worship cows, just one.
Oh my god.
They all worship cows.
Church, that's amazing. That's fucking amazing. You have just reduced down the complexities of the differential between Pakistanis and Hindus to the easiest identifier I now have. They both have nuclear powers and they're going to kill each other over pork versus beef. This is brilliant.
I will also say that based on
it's not just brilliant, Rune, it's halal.
Now that's good. That's good luck.
But church, is it kosher?
No, they don't eat pork either.
I will also say, based on people I know who know Brie Larson in actual real life, she may be a female autist.
I often believe, until they prove otherwise, that many people, not just in Hollywood, but in a certain level of economic comfort, who don't travel a lot, don't necessarily read a lot, do not have a lot of demands to understand a lot of things, have a very curated understanding of reality. Not just the outside world, reality. I can absolutely believe that Brie Larson knows the words Pakistan and the words India, and might even be able to gesture in the right area of the world, but couldn't find it on a map and couldn't tell you the difference between the two.
But I am serious that several people have suggested she might have some form of autism spectrum disorder, which might be why she can't be a larger-than-life action superhero.
But Larry, we were told by the Predator that aliens are coming to Earth to steal our autism because it's a superpower. Are you saying that movies lied to me again?
I mean, the Predator was awful.
It really was.
And it's a shame because the guy who wrote The Predator is a very good movie writer. And there were various things that happened in production that led to that movie becoming an abortion.
He's a good movie writer who spent the last 20 years, 30 years writing kid movies and Iron Man. I don't necessarily know if he should have been writing a Predator film at this time.
So is this going to be our next review, Larry?
No, we're not going to review The Predator. It's
look at the screen.
No, Chromosome 21, which I I have seen the trailer for.
Started that. My big issue with that is I was not in position to listen to something in Spanish and read English subtitles.
Oh, okay.
Something just now.
So Chromosome 21 is from Chile.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like it's about a person with a chromosomal disorder as a superhero or a supervillain.
No, it's supposed to. It's supposed to be some sort of like thriller or something.
It's some sort of crime drama.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thinking of a different film, but I see Church has muted, presumably because he's talking to the alphabet soup, trying to keep us on the air.
No,
I
muted.
Oh no, I was talking to the wife.
Talking about.
Are you saying the wife is not part of the FBI, keeping an eye on you?
No.
I'm not saying that.
I mean, if Church says his wife's the FBI in his bedroom, that's none of our business.
I do not presume that Church calls Mrs. Church Herbert Hoover or what's his name in the bedroom. This is not where I go.
But
no,
anyways,
I don't either.
Anyways, back to Quantum Mania. It was mostly just super boring. Like it starts out kind of fun with like this kind of like goofy, Paul Rudd sort of narration intro thing as he's kind of walking down the street, and then it cuts to him sitting in a library reading a book he wrote about being Ant-Man to a bunch of kids. That opening scene, that was fun.
Well, let's
because it's so stupid the way he writes it. So with that whole opening sequence, I was like, okay, maybe this will be like just goofy enough that I'll enjoy it. And then it immediately just went downhill and was just so boring that I literally zoned out and like kind of popped back in like 20 minutes after. Is like, wait, what's going on?
Well, there are three, as I understand it, there are 3 points that lead to Quantum Mania being a failure. Right? The first is any claims to the contrary are a lie. This is probably the last Phase 4 movie. Because it's been in development for so long, it's been waiting for a slot for so long. They can claim up and down that Wakanda Forever was the last Phase 4 movie, but it's not. Quantum Mania probably is. Right?
This was probably the signal they referred to in Shang-Chi.
Right. The second point is it got moved around a lot. Just like Multiverse of Madness got moved around. This was supposed to be probably released way earlier and wasn't. And that probably hurt it because Ant-Man is not as major a character draw as other characters, and it would have done better to be placed earlier when people would still think about going. Right?
See, I don't know, because the first Ant-Man movie, I really liked that one.
Well,
I think they were actually pretty good.
Yeah, I really like it.
The first Ant-Man movie was about something.
Here's
the second Ant-Man movie was almost about something.
Oh wait, so it's like the Seinfeld thing. It's a movie about nothing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. The most talk I've seen about Quantum Mania has nothing to do with the film and everything to do with, apparently there's one throwaway line in which is it Michael Douglas?
Yes.
Yeah.
Says socialism's not so bad, and the entire internet losing their fucking mind. Like that's an endorsement of an entire concept.
Hold up. You're taking that out. Hold up. You're taking that out of context a little bit, Rune.
Well, no, I'm saying the people commenting on it are possibly taking it out of context.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're not.
Because that's the only thing they're talking about. They're not talking about the rest of the film. And when I ask Ayrton to tell me about the rest of the film, he kind of has nothing to say, which is not a good endorsement of that film.
So the socialism thing is the ants got sucked into the quantum realm, and then they went to a section of the quantum realm where they experienced 1,000 years, versus the time of everybody else, and so the ants came up with a techno socialist utopia because they have a hive mind. And so they made the comment about, socialism is a loaded concept, but ... So in other words, they're saying that the only way socialism can work is with a collective hive mind and a military authoritarian regime because that's how ants function as a society.
I mean, that's almost believably true. I mean, look, it works for the Tau, okay? They're not slaves to the ethereals, I promise.
Well, and Rune, it was also the way the whole the line was just presented.
I can see that.
So forcefully and so awkward in the scene too.
But
it sounds like it was ADR'd.
Like I said, I only bring it up.
I don't think they ADR'd it. I think he was on screen when he said it.
I only bring it up because that's what people are talking about, not the film itself, and that's not a good look for the film.
Well, they're talking about that in MODOK.
And MODOK looking worse somehow than he did in
because the plot's stupid and the plot doesn't make any sense with what they've constructed around it because they need a certain amount of MCU garbage.
Yes, I'm not an anarcho-communist. I'm an anthro-communist. Clearly. So the third point, because I said there were 3 points. Right?
Oh yeah.
So point 1 is it's a Phase 4 movie. Point 2 is it got moved around. Point 3. I was on Telepathic Bunny's podcast yesterday, just for a little bit, just like a guest in the audience, and they were talking about this subject, and they were trying to assert that this was basically a woman's fault because a woman came in and took over a managerial position at a key point, and you can clearly see how after she's involved, things take a downward dip.
Well,
and
hold up.
They don't. That's just what they were saying. I'm not endorsing it.
Hold up. There's a little bit more context.
That's just what they were saying. That's not the point.
I know, but I want to give you the extra context because I know the context.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get to what I said.
Okay.
Because what I said is important. I said that in addition to speeding up the production rate, where we're going to do more films because we need what is it, 2 films a year? Or some shit.
It's actually 4.
Yeah, I mean, logic would say you alternate. You do a Star Wars one year and a Marvel the next, but they're not doing that. They're zipping at the speed of fucking light.
Marvel's been doing 3 to 4 films a year,
and they're trimming the budgets everywhere, right?
Too many films,
right? There's a triangle in design. It appears in several other areas as well, but for this one in particular, you can do it fast. You can do it cheap, or you can do it well. And you can sometimes do all 3 at once. Sometimes. You can do 2 all the time. But you can't do all 3 all the time. And that's the thing. It's like Disney wants highest quality, and they want it fast, but they're also willing to just throw money at it. They don't seem to understand that if you want good, you have to take more time. Right, and if you want inexpensive, you've got to downgrade one of those 2 areas.
There's a lot.
They're trying to spend all the plates.
There's a lot going on here, but let me go back to the Victoria Alonso point because
the original plan was James Gunn was going to become the understudy for Kevin Feige, who was getting more and more stuff put on his plate, and when he wasn't able to do that, Victoria was one of the people underneath Kevin Feige who became the senior production executive. So, for example, she's why Marvel Comics Presents Race War featured underwater Mexicans. It was her idea that they'd be underwater Mexicans.
Right.
Yeah.
She's been the senior person underneath because Kevin Feige is trying to do the big thing, and because he's not able to be around on the day-to-day, everything sucked.
Right.
Kevin Feige focused intensely on the beginning phases of MCU on TV, and again, it wasn't very good. Now, the other aspect of what you were talking about is there was a change in how they filmed actioners. So originally, for an action movie, you need to know how to shoot action sequences and shoot related scenes around the action sequence so that they all worked, they all fit under time and under budget.
Right.
There's a very small number of directors who could do that well. And those people all got paid very well.
Right.
Then they developed new technology that enabled them to cut things, to edit things, to shoot things on the fly. And now basically they bring in a director who's had maybe one, maybe two movies before this. They have somebody else do all the action scenes, and they goof around and they do what Doomcock referred to as the scrapbooking method.
I was
where
about
they
to
don't
say
really,
that
where they
scrapbooking
don't
is a
really,
blight.
where they don't really have a script per se. They have a loose skeleton, and then they
Right.
say, "Well, what if in this scene this and this happens?"
Yeah.
And there's not really any fidelity or editing quality as to making sure that makes sense with other things you have already filmed. And that's why there's all these rumors about there being like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different cuts of a movie. Because technically, due to all this new digital nonsense, they filmed that much stuff. So you can make 6, 7, 8, 9 different movies out of it.
You want to know what the irony is to this problem? This is actually a comics problem, and it's actually Marvel's fault after a fashion. Okay, let me fill in that gap. So, you guys may recall because we recovered it, we reviewed it, we talked about it, we laughed at it, we pointed at it, we raged at it. Marvel still does the Marvel method. And What's His Nuts was trying to defend his inadequacies as a writer by saying, well, I just used the Marvel method.
Slaughter Octavius.
Right. The thing is that the Marvel method does work, and it works very, very well if you are operating in disconnected episodic stories like were done when the Marvel method was created. Because it doesn't matter what your month-to-month is, you can work in a single page or panel of reference to suggest an ongoing narrative if your primary story is Spider-Man stops a bank robbery, right? That works, right? When comics shifted to mini runs and long form storytelling, where you'd say like Goblin War, I want to say was 8 issues of a Spider-Man run, Hobgoblin versus Green Goblin with Spidey stuck in the middle, which was great. I loved it.
I think Demo Goblin was there too.
No, Demo Goblin was dead, but it's a nice idea. I like Demo Goblin. I wish he'd come back. Either way, when they switch to that, you have to have more internal consistency, and the Marvel method doesn't work. At least not in full form at the speed that they expect, right? Because you've got to go back over it. You've got to say, how can I alter this to fit into a narrative? In film, because they're moving so fast, the scrapbooking is basically the Marvel method. Okay, what if we have these characters under this scene, and what if something happens, and they react to it, and then, all the way through, right?
Now, there is one other component to how they're making these movies. The giant CGI splooge scenes.
Right.
Those require Koreans to work for about 2 years to get right.
Right.
On their computers. So the splooge scenes are unchangeable hunks of the movie.
Right. They're giant rocks that they've got to fit into the stream.
Yep.
I just want to give a quick update. My phone setup is finally complete. I have set my ringtone to Ric Flair drip and my text notification tone to the Metal Gear Solid codec sound.
Hell yeah!
I am disappointed.
But
I would think that your cell phone ring would be the hog hollering.
No. I set it to Ric Flair drip, so I'll never answer my phone. I would always answer it if it was a hollering hog.
You would always answer if it was Ethan Ralph.
Yeah. Right, but instead when someone calls me, not only will I not answer them, but I will let it ring and ring because I'll be grooving to the stylish soundings of the Ric Flair drip.
Nice.
So did you guys check out
real quick.
my
real quick, Larry, there was something I wanted to tag on when you and Rune were done talking about this thing.
Oh, the Rick and Morty thing?
No, when you two were done talking about the Marvel method and what you guys think is the issue with their movies, I think the issue with the Ant-Man movie is they didn't utilize what is fun to watch about Ant-Man in this because they couldn't. Like the first two movies, like the most fun parts are the the chase scene in Ant-Man 2 where they're like
that's part of the heist.
Where they're shrinking the van and then making it grow, or when him and Yellow Jacket are fighting on his kids, Thomas, the
Yeah,
tank engine plane
that,
Yeah,
places.
that's all heist
like-
movie stuff.
that's all heist stuff.
It's worth mentioning because
That's the fun part of it. They couldn't do that
Let him get done, Ryan.
with the quantum realm stuff. I think they leaned way too
It's-
heavily into quantum stuff because people think it's cool and sci-fi, but it's not. It's just boring because quantum physics is literally we don't know, shit happens.
Okay,
And
so
sometimes it doesn't.
Two
Let
things.
Rune get in real quick.
Two things, very briefly, because I know Church has someone who wants to go with this. So one, I think it was Drinker, could have been Doomcock, could have been that guy. Somebody was saying that in development there was a corporate interference. The director wanted to take Ant-Man in a darker direction, following the two Fun movies. Basically, let's deal with some of the ramifications of the previous films.
Oh yeah, because that worked so well with Thor.
Right. And was told to put a halt on it because they were like, no, this is Marvel. We don't do dark films. We do happy, fun, stupid films. And so they had to go.
Thor.
So they had to go do reshoots with quirky, fun jokes that weren't fun. But you get tonal whiplash where everyone's quirking at things that they should not be making jokes at. The second thing is that actually you're not wrong that they made it boring. But no, the idea of a quantum realm is interesting, but you actually have to make it interesting. You
could even have done a heist movie in the quantum realm.
In my job, we've been talking about what is game design, what is structure, how do we do things, because I'm doing all this job training. And a criticism came up as we were talking about how would we want to structure a product. And I said, look, if you're going to do a fantastic realm and you want to do the visuals of fantastic and have people interact with it, that's great, but let's actually make it fantastic. And they're like, what do you mean? Well, there was Mass Effect 4. I forget the name. I keep wanting to say Pathfinder. Mass Effect Fail. Where they're like, we're going to leave the galaxy. We're going to go someplace else. It's going to be stuff you've never seen before. It's going to be wildly different. It's going to be amazing. It was basically the same. The new cultures were not interesting, and their idea of something fantastic and strange you ain't never seen before was floating rocks. Okay? All of the clips that I have seen, because I haven't seen Ant-Man Quantumania, you're more equipped to say that, that shows the quantum realm where people are when they shrink super down, is like bright, multicolored plants.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's any generic alien world you've
Right,
seen in any sci-fi movie.
It's really lacking in that ineffable something that makes me give a shit.
Well, here's the thing, and that actually ties into what I wanted to say about it.
Sweet.
As somebody who is a fan of, a lot of the heist movies, like I was getting ready to say with Ayrton, all of the growing and shrinking shit, that's all akin to the Mini Cooper chase in the beginning of The Italian Job.
Yeah.
That's all heist shit.
Yeah.
So the fact that they did a movie where they destroyed the mystique of the quantum realm, like that's what made it fun and interesting, is the fact that all you got was like tidbits and snippets. Like there was no deep dive into said quantum realm. Even when they went out to get what's her fuck's mother out of the quantum realm, you still didn't have any fucking clue what was going on, except there's a bunch of wavy shit going on.
Yeah.
Doing a deep dive into it, trying to explain it, trying to put it on screen, that destroys the mystique of it, and that's never fun.
Well, I'm going to write a better film right now in less than a minute.
Well, I just did. Ant-Man's the wrong character. Sure,
No,
his power. Well, hold on.
Okay.
Sure, his power's shrinking, so it kind of fits. But if they wanted to use Ant-Man, they should have made it a buddy cop with Ant-Man and Doctor Strange having to steal some sort of relic from the quantum realm.
It's neat, but no.
That's how they should have done it.
That Kang might have hid there. Yeah.
I can fix it with the tools they've got at hand. Okay? So Ant-Man shrunk down when he was in what was it? Not Civil War. Endgame.
Endgame.
Yeah.
I thought he shrunk down before Endgame.
He did, but
okay. Well, still he
shrunk down in Infinity War.
Right, shrunk down. New person was there. Had to go. Right, gonna go back, goes back with Wasp. She's not there. They're like, what the fuck? She was here, right? Get grabbed by Kang's dudes, get thrown in Kang's prison. Kang claims their shape changing or size changing equipment, so they can't go back unless they get it back, right? And you do an inverse heist movie. Instead of having to break into a place and steal a thing, they've got to now use their brains and Lang's skills to break the fuck out of Kang's micro prison. And that's the sum of your movie.
And somehow, some way, that Hispanic guy that was in Ant-Man 1 gets shrunk down in the quantum verse as well.
Right.
Because he made the movie.
And on the way out, they rescue Wasp's mom because feel good ending.
She was already rescued.
Right.
No. On the way out, they get in and out in the quantum realm.
Right. Exactly. There you go. Boom. Done. Fun. I'm just saying, you use all the tools that are there. You don't reinvent the wheel. Sounds like they really did try to reinvent the wheel, which rarely works.
Yeah.
So, does that bring us to Ronald Dahl, or are we going to talk about something else?
We can talk about Ronald Dahl. I actually want to ask though if you saw the other show I did where I was talking.
We can't talk about Ronald Dahl yet.
We can't
because I just got done finished setting up my new cell phone. I've distributed the number to Ayrton and Larry, and Rune doesn't text, so he'll get it when I call him. I'll send it to you in DMs, Rune, so you'll have it. But
okay.
So Taxmas came at the church household, and
I gotta send in my Santa list for Taxmas.
I did the usual thing, but instead of buying an exorbitant electronic or something of that nature, a Steam Deck was on the menu this year, and I was
nice.
I just got to switch. I'll wait till next year. So let them work the bugs out of the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So I was like, there is one thing I want to do though, because when I got the first cell phone, it was the first time in 5 years I'd carried a cell phone. So I just bought this cheap piece of shit Cricket phone just to have something that work could get in touch with me with. Well, what I didn't understand in buying a cheap piece of shit Cricket phone is that it was literally going to be a cheap piece of shit Cricket phone. Like, I understood I wasn't going to have a lot of the features of the newer phones or whatever. What I didn't know is that it wouldn't even come with enough RAM to run the shitty back-end bullshit OS that it had installed on it. So after 5 months of dealing with this thing that lagged every time you hit contacts, I was like, I'm going to spend a couple $100 and get a nice phone that I can just put my SIM card into and transfer over. So I go on Amazon. I'm looking through the refurbished phones. I'm not even trying to get a brand new one out of the box, right, guys? I'm being frugal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's this like Galaxy A22 cell phone. It's fairly large, but I'm a big guy, so that doesn't matter to me. But it's all touchscreen, has 4 gigs of RAM and 120 gig internal memory. More than enough for me to download some podcasts because I don't have access to Wi-Fi at work because encrypted networks. So, I download some podcasts, I download some YouTube videos. I've got entertainment while I'm at work and still get in touch with my family at a moment's notice without having the internet. So I get this thing. I slap that Cricket SIM card in there. Well, this phone's not compatible, even though it's on the GSM network unlocked. I look up on Cricket. Well, there are, availability websites down. Okay, well, could be my internet. My internet's kind of trash. So I'll call customer service. Well, after waiting for 45 minutes, and the level of rage that you have on a customer service call increases every 5 minutes of that hold recording.
It does.
Because it's never just music. It's always music that, while it would be soothing on its own, is interrupted by a robotic voice going, your current hold time is...
The only way to make it less obnoxious is to put your phone on speaker and put it down, because otherwise you want to throw it across the room.
You want to pick it up and throw it across the room when you do that. But yes,
I don't have that
correct.
problem, but I understand your intimation.
So anyway, after 45 minutes of waiting, this representative finally gets on the line. I'm like, hey, just bought this, device, cost like $250, all said and done, shipping. And I've got it. The device is really nice. I like it. I'm not going to get rid of this device. It's unlocked for the GSM network, which Cricket is a part of. Can you explain to me why my SIM card isn't working when I install it and go to activate it on your website? Oh, well, that phone's not supported. Now, wait a fucking minute. So what you're telling me is that you handpick devices, even though they're running the same operating system. You're saying that because this phone isn't a Samsung Galaxy S22 or S23 that cost me $1,500 out the fucking door, that you're just not going to support it, even though I'm coming off of this piece of shit that has 126 megabytes of RAM in it. You can go fuck yourself. So after they get done explaining to me that this arbitrary list exists for phones that, even if they're unlocked for the GSM network, aren't supported by Cricket, I said, well, it looks like this phone's supported by Mint Mobile, so I'm going to go get one of their cards from Best Buy. Oh, well, you could just send the phone back and get another. This motherfucker literally said, send the phone you just bought back and buy a new phone. Fuck Cricket. Fuck Cricket Wireless. Fuck those assholes and everything they stand for.
By the same median, I wish to express that I am disappointed in someone, and because I'm disappointed in them, I'm going to name names, and I'm going to point out why they are wrong, and they can get fucked.
Okay.
Ooh.
So there's a gentleman. I was introduced to him through the online series LA by Night. His name is Dave Walters.
Was it Andrew Jackson?
No. His name is Dave Walters. He is a very handsome black man or man of color, whatever your preference is. He's got great speechcraft.
What if my preference is Nick?
That's your problem.
February American church.
He has great.
I joke, of course, people.
He has great charisma. He is, like I say, he has great speechcraft. He's a interesting man, which is why I follow him.
Hold up, no. Rune just did the racist thing. He speaks so well. He's so well spoken.
Speaks better than I do.
What do you think he's going to sound like, motherfucker? Goddamn Indian?
No, I mean,
up in this motherfucker?
No, I mean, he actually speaks better than me.
Hello, thank you for calling Cricket Wireless. How may I be fucking you today?
Hold up, Church. There's this thing called code switching that minorities do, where they talk good for white people.
Well,
and that's racist.
Look, and then they drop that Ebonic shit for the real N-words.
Look, all of this is irrelevant to the actual point because you're shitlords, and that's fine. All right.
Love you, Rune.
Here's the thing. Somebody posted a clip from an animated DC Universe cartoon in which Wonder Woman, to save the Flash, beats the shit out of some Nazis. And it's like, you know what? That's cool. Wonder Woman kicking ass, taking names. Right? But Mr. Walters has commented through the brilliance of Twitter, using his great mind and the intellect that I think is so impressive, to go, but comics aren't supposed to be political. Excuse me. Motherfucker. Nazis bad. We knew Nazis were bad 90 years ago.
Rune. He was saying that sarcastic.
No, I know he's saying that sarcastically, but the thing is that the guy who made the original post saying Wonder Woman making Nazis bounce off of walls is satisfying is not a political comment. It is satisfying to watch Wonder Woman beat the shit out of people that deserve to have the shit beat out of them. She traveled back in time to World War II with the Flash and was beating up actual Nazis during World War II. It's fine.
Here's the issue, though. At least Marvel does this job of trying to coat over the whole anti-Semitism thing by making it AIM or Hydra.
It's Hydra.
There's like I don't care because Nazis are
but
shit.
hold up,
I think everyone could agree Nazis are shit.
Hold up, Rune. You're still going away from the main point here of the two people who made this original post here. They were both making fun of people who didn't want politics in their comics that are done in a ham-handed way, versus very clear, very concise superhero punching bad guy.
Yeah. But it could very easily have been any other situation. Like it had to be Nazis because Nazis are the topic of conversation today. No one in comics today has ever had to deal with a real Nazi.
Right, but the thing is like in my brain, no, I absolutely.
Why couldn't it have been a Taliban?
I personally have no problem
because they're brown.
And see, it's like I actually have no problem with superheroes beating up the Taliban. I don't like Holy Terror by Frank Miller.
Why couldn't it have been the Ku Klux Klan?
Because I think it's badly written. No, it should be the Ku Klux Klan. I absolutely love that there's a Superman comic where Superman takes on the Klan. It's great.
Or what about the communist revolutionaries in Russia?
Or the Black Panther Party?
I'm not seeing anything wrong here.
Yes, but you're the minority. Because you'll still have conversations with people like us.
Church, now you're confusing things. We know I'm not a minority. I'm white.
but you're
also a commie furry and cripple. So
okay.
Yeah.
so
since you're crippled and you're part of the rainbow people, that covers you as a minority.
You're a crippled commie furry and you have a disability.
Look. Any so just leaning wokists watching this, you can't get mad at me. Because I'm a disabled person, I'm special, and you just have to explain it to me because I'm simple.
Right.
I don't understand how these things work. That's how I got a girlfriend.
I mean, women do like to explain things to me.
I mean, me and Peter Griffin, we just opened up a bathroom stall, said, I don't know any better. She said, well, let me show you how this all works down there. And I said, I want to get married. No, I'm just saying, like, even if the person in question was trying to make a political point, and I don't see it because I don't give a shit because bad guys got to get beat, and that's fine. That's what superheroes fucking do. Superheroes beat up bad guys.
Right. His point is to make fun of people like us.
Right.
For being mad about shitty politics in popular culture media.
Right. I'm saying that Nazis are bad, actual Nazis in World War II, is no longer a political statement. Even if there is a political component to history, it is a proven fact. Nazis and the Holocaust sucked. Yes, I want to see superheroes hit them. I am perfectly all right. Let me just throw this out there. I do not believe it is a political statement to have Midnighter kick Adolf Hitler in World War I in the balls so many times that when time reasserted itself, it not only destroyed Hitler's ball, but it crippled him. I think that's just funny.
But Rune, you're insufficiently educated in the Gramscian perspective on art. All art is political because all art exists to further the agenda of the party. And the agenda of politics.
You know, I'm actually a really bad art historian in general because when I was in school learning art history, because my original teacher that was going to teach me French history got a case of the pregnant and had to check out, so she got a replacement who was an ill-spoken Japanese man I had trouble following. He said that Salvador Dali was fakey as a surrealist. And I immediately checked out that he was full of shit.
I mean,
dude, Rune,
I've been to the Dali Museum multiple times, so that all checks out. You're checking out on him.
But Rune, my art history class in college was at 8 a.m, taught by a 112-year-old woman who spoke in a monotone.
Wow. Wait a minute. You got a female Ben Stein?
Yes.
No. That's not the correct question. You got to be in the morning for. You got to be in the morning for a class, Ayrton.
What was
Ayrton McCartney. Ayrton.
No, it was. Dude, that was the. I slept every class pretty much. I would sit in the back. I do a trick that my dad taught me where you put your elbow on the desk and then put your chin like on your fist and then just close your eyes. And so it looks like you're looking forward. As long as you're back far enough and they can't see you, it's fine. You can get away with it.
As a kid, I always thought the sunglasses that look like open eyes was pretty neat. Just wear your sunglasses, go to sleep.
Well, let's continue along the theme of unhistory and talk about what they're doing to the giant beach.
Yeah. I read a bunch of quotes from men, so I'm gonna leave it to you, Larry. Feel free to give us comparative history and imagery. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ayrton's gonna put up the imagery.
Well, I mean, it's not history; it's unhistory.
Well, yeah, but I mean the images. If you want to read the quotables, so we can be learned about what is better writing today in 2023.
All right, give me a second.
Because there's an image of that.
I'm gonna pull up the specific thread I plan to use.
I do have a story about this, but I want people to get to factors before I get to Wolfie rage.
Aw. All right, so we're gonna look at Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is a 2001 versus a 2022 edition.
Oh yeah.
Like all extremely old people, he was delicate and weak. That's 2001. 2022. Like most extremely old people, he was delicate and weak. Tell Charlie about that crazy Indian prince, said Grandma Josephine. Versus tell Charlie about that ridiculously rich Indian prince, said Grandma Josephine. You mean Pondicherry, said Grandpa Joe, as he began chuckling with laughter. Complete dotty, said Grandpa. George, but very rich, said Grandma Georgina. You mean Prince Pondicherry? Said Grandpa Joe as he began chuckling with laughter.
Why did they change the spelling of the prince's name?
Because that's more authentic to India.
Oh, get fucked.
Prince Pondicherry wrote a letter to Willy Wonka that didn't change, other than the name. The crazy prince, the prince, a 9-year-old boy who was so enormously fat, he looked as though he had been blown up with a powerful pump. 9-year-old boy who was so enormous, he looked as though he had been blown up with a powerful pump. You see, we removed fat because fat is it's a negative word.
Well, yeah, they're people of size. They're people of size now.
Great flabby folds fat.
Wait a minute. If they're people of size, does that mean that the chocolate eating kid getting blown up to the size of a giant grape is fat appropriation because he wasn't actually fat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great flabby folds of fat bulged out of every part of his body, and his face was like a monstrous ball of dough. Great folds bulged out of every part of his body, and his face was like a ball of dough. James and the Giant Peach. Queer ramshackle house. Strange ramshackle house.
Oh, come on. I thought
so we're changing definitions now.
Well, I mean, queer and strange are ubiquitous
Synonyms,
in that in that context.
Yeah.
Aunt Sponge was enormously fat and very short. Aunt Sponge was quite large and very short, because large is better than fat. One of those white flabby faces that looked exactly as though it had been boiled. A face that looked like a great soggy overboiled cabbage. I mean, cabbages are green.
Yeah.
If I was the estate of any of these authors, I would be suing the fuck out of.
Oh no, the estate not only signed a contract agreeing to it, they also sent out PR things talking about how wonderful this is.
Then they should be burned to the ground.
She had a screeching voice. She had an annoying voice, because screeching has negative connotations about women.
So
Really?
we
I
can't
think
have
of
villains
owls.
anymore, is what you're saying.
Those two ghastly hags, those two ghastly ants. Because again, hags is negative about women.
Here's the thing, because this is pertinent now as you're starting to get hot about this, Church. What you are looking at in a modern context is something that we have known about since
1984 was published.
No,
Since Animal
no,
Farm was published.
No, it's worse than that. We have known about this since the 18th century.
Hmm?
Okay, we're gonna. Welcome to the
This
History Minute.
this goes to a little guy you might have heard of called Oliver Cromwell.
No, this goes to a little guy you might have heard of named Thomas Bodler. See, Bodler was a proto-Victorian who was very concerned about inappropriate content in books, and he and his sister worked together in the latter 18th century, early 19th century to make sanitized versions, clean flicks of their day, of books you should not read, books that are dangerous to you.
I hope they were all crucified in the Saint Peter's fashion, upside down.
I wish. The thing is that they did something so offensive, so awful, that authors of the day joined in unison to decry it, to disdain it. Okay? And it created a term. It's an actual words in the dictionary. To Bodlerize a work. They wrote a book called The Family Shakespeare. It's Shakespeare sanitized for modern audiences in the 19th century so that there's no sex, no inappropriate jokes, and no swearing because Shakespeare's too edgy. Shakespeare is too edgy for Victorians!
Hold up. Now, Rune, you know gosh darn good and well that Shakespeare was actually gutter trash when it was originally written.
Right. Exactly.
There are actual jokes about...
It's now very common to hear people say, I'm rather offended by that, as if that gives them certain rights. It's no more than a whine. It has no meaning. It has no purpose.
Right.
It has no reason to be respected as a phrase. I'm offended by that. Well, so fucking what?
I also would refer to the edits from the witches, because the ones from the witches are actually the most offensive.
Well, let me just put this in real quick. Bodler also did A Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Okay? And what got people off their fucking seats to raise hell about this was later era in the early 20th century. Some people tried to do a cleaned up edit of Ulysses. And they were like, fuck no.
You know what I do want to see, though? I do want to see a attempt at trying to clean up fucking Blazing Saddles. Like I want to see the nightmare that would be.
I've seen it.
Attempting to clean up Blazing Saddles.
No, it exists. It actually exists.
There's no way.
Just one it's just one long beep across the entire movie.
Right?
No. It's worse and funnier than that. The first time I saw Blazing Saddles was on regular TV on TBS. Okay, so first and foremost, cut up with commercials. Okay, but anytime they had inappropriate jokes, they just cut the sound. Okay.
Yeah.
So the sheriff walks up to the old woman and is like, hello, or good morning, ma'am. And it looks at the little old lady and it goes completely dead silent and her mouth moves, which means if you can read lips, you know what she said.
Dude, they do that. There. They do that in the campfire farting scene too.
Right. But here's the thing: the entire scene with Mel Brooks as the governor with the ping pong paddles, the entire scene is dead silent. None of the jokes made it past the censor.
See, that's not what I'm talking about, though. I want to hear monkey fighting snakes on a Monday to Friday plane version of Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
Yeah. Church wants the ADR.
The sheriff is a nibbler.
Let me.
The sheriff's a binger.
Hold up. I want to read the parts from the witches, which is the most offensive one.
Okay.
Don't be foolish, my grandmother said. You can't go around pulling the hair of every lady you meet, even if she's wearing gloves. Just you try it and see what happens. Is now. Don't be foolish, my grandmother said. Besides, there are plenty of other reasons why women might wear wigs, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
even if she's working as a cashier.
Their husbands.
Yep, even if she's working as a cashier at a supermarket or typing letters for a businessman. It's now been replaced with, even if she's working at a top scientist or running a business.
Neither of which is she doing.
So, to put a fine point on this, because you'll love this, Church. The Boulders were not the first to undertake such a project, being the correction of stuff. But Boulders' commitment not to augment or to add to Shakespeare's text, but merely remove sensitive material, contrasted with earlier practice. Nathan Tent, as poet laureate, had rewritten the tragedy of King Lear to have a happy ending. In 1807, Charles Lamb and Mary Lamb published Tales from Shakespeare for children with synopsises of the text. Through the family, Shakespeare was seen a negative example of censorship by literary establishment and its commitment to authentic Shakespeare. The Bowdler editions made it more acceptable to teach Shakespeare to wider and younger audiences. According to the poet Algernon Charles Swinburne, more nauseous and more foolish cant was never chatted than that which would deride the memory or depreciate the merits of Bowdler. No man ever did more service to Shakespeare than the man who made it possible to put him in the hands of intelligent and imaginative children. Okay, well, let's see some examples. Changes. In Hamlet, the death of Ophelia was called an accidental drowning, not a possibly an intended suicide. God, as an explanation, is replaced with heavens. And in Henry IV, Part 2, the prostitute dull tear sheet is omitted outright. The slightly more reputable Mistress Quickly retained. Prominent modern figures.
So they left her a whore, but they just didn't pay her? That's rude.
Right. Prominent modern figures such as Michiko Katatuni of the New York Times and William Safire in his book How Not to Write have accused Bowdler of changing Lady Macbeth's famous out damn spot to line in Macbeth to out crimson spot, but Bowdler didn't do that. Thomas Bulfinch and his son did in their 1865 edition of Shakespeare. So people have been changing up shit forever and just stomping all over the legacy of dead men, and it's offensive no matter who fucking does it.
Well, so we didn't finish getting through the James of the Giant Peach slide. There are a couple on here that don't make sense to me. Why they
none of them make sense.
No, I mean these don't even make sense from like the most extreme wokest mindset. The line.
Give me an example.
No, hold on. No, you know what does make sense, Ayrton?
Huh?
Cutting your cigarette bill by rolling your own cigarettes.
Oh, ad time.
You know when
we need an ad time bar for
when
ad
you're
time?
No product review.
Okay.
When when you're a pack a day smoker or more, and people tell you smoking is a disgusting habit, you should quit. Well, I'm here to tell you. But
it makes you look cool.
You shouldn't, because you absolutely look cool smoking a cigarette. So, with the average carton of cigarettes costing upwards between $65 and $80,
dude,
only one day.
Yeah,
only one day.
Oh, my bad.
Right idea.
What are you saying, Ayrton? No carton of cigarettes. What?
Also, I guess maybe where you are because of the taxes. Up here, there's no carton of cigarettes. It's $60. They're all at least $80.
I also want to say I absolutely love the idea, like just chef's kiss, that we're going to start working in 1950s style product placement ads.
Oh, we've done it before.
Like lava soap and alcohol and cigarettes.
Well, no, I literally bought a new cigarette machine. So I had.
Is that what we're looking at? Is that the HK3?
That is. It's the Hawkmatic automatic cigarette rolling machine.
No. We know what HK stands for. It's Hunter Killer, right?
Yes.
No, it's Heckler and Koch.
I mean, look, Heckler and Koch stuff still kills you. So I mean,
but anyway, I have been rolling my own cigarettes for a little over a year now, and I've saved a shitload of money in doing it, and have not had to quit smoking because of it. So, I've been able to keep up my my death schedule and save a little money. But I had this hand crank, cumbersome little machine that you.
Their website's all in Asian.
Oh yeah. It's definitely a knockoff of the Powermatic too. Don't get me wrong. It's just got a better hopper in it. That's the only difference.
So wait a minute. You're saying church. That means you're doing the ad wrong. It's not sibilant American voices. It's you like cigarette?
You like cigarette?
You want cancer?
You want
Oh goddamn! Even the box like packaging design is a knockoff of the Powermatic. Holy
Yeah,
shit!
it is. It is. But
look, in China they
it
use
has
great
better
tobacco.
reviews than the Powermatic 3, though. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, the Powermatic 3 sucks.
So, anyway, I did my research and I found this,
Oh
this
God!
little device.
Oh God, Church.
Yeah.
On YouTube, there's a guy. If you've never heard of him, I'll go look him up. I'm sure I can find him. He's a young Asian immigrant son who does stories about growing up Asian with like Asian parents who are first
Oh no,
generation.
I've seen this guy. Yeah,
Right,
I've seen this
right.
guy.
And he's always talking about how his son's a loser because they do that tiger parent stuff, right?
Yeah.
And now I can hear it in my head. It's like, you want to be loser? You get cigarette. You get smoking addiction. You become cool.
So anyway, I had this manual cigarette roller. I had the tube cut machine, which is probably the best the best manual roller on the market. But
by the way, all of this racism is in Minecraft.
It's just a crankshaft style machine. You pack tobacco down into a little cylinder. You close it. You put a tube on the end of it. You crank it, and it pops out a cigarette. The whole process probably takes about what would you say, 30, 45 seconds, Ayrton?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, the HK, the Hawkmatic version 3, you fill the hopper with enough tobacco for about 20 cigarettes. You press the button, it does all the compression for you, and as soon as you hit the button a second time, it pushes the tobacco into the tube and automatically refills, so that all you have to do is just keep a steady flow of tubes on that little metal piece right here. See if my little mouth, my mouth works. This little metal piece right here, you put the tube on there. Every single time it spits one out, it's refilling. So
nice.
Took me maybe 45 minutes to an hour to roll an entire carton of cigarettes with this thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which typically, if you're doing it by hand with the crank, like
takes between 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2 to 2.5 if you're good at it.
Well, you're taking smoke breaks in between. You're refilling your whiskey.
As a callback to a previous subject, Larry, you'll appreciate this.
Why is there a big titty chick on?
I'm gonna explain.
On my screen.
Somebody on the Twitch space said, a shout out to the true heroes of Lupin III, the buttons of Fujiko's shirt, which demonstrated absolute strength and resolve.
They do. They absolutely do.
Because they never break.
We'll just zoom in right there.
Well, the ad time's in the way. There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Just impossible.
And those are some great fabric mechanics, because that is exactly how the fabric would just react around that kind of tension. You can go ahead and come out. I see you. No, put it back. We're done. We're going to bed.
Oh no, little ones are up to no good. They're up to chicanery.
Yeah. My oldest thinks that bedtime means pizza time, but that hour passed a little while back.
Yeah.
I mean, it does if you take the cold pizza slice with you to bed.
Yeah, but you have to do that when bedtime is announced,
right,
not 2.5 hours later.
Yeah, no, you sneak it with you. You don't tell the parent you're doing it.
Well, you definitely don't get caught.
Yeah.
we put up the titties and we gained a couple of viewers.
To be fair, our criticism is not that the child attempted it. Our criticism is the child got caught.
Right. Yeah. No.
I mean.
Well, I feel terrible
for his children.
I feel terrible as a parent. I'm gonna put that out there right now. As a parent, I just feel completely awful every other day, because I look at my children and I say something, and about 2 minutes later, I have a vision in the back of my head of my father saying the same thing to me, and I remember the feeling that it put in me, and I'm just like, oh shit, I've become my father. And then I laugh about it, and I realize he told me this would happen.
I
remember the day I moved out of my house, he hugged me and he said, I hope you have kids that are just as good as you were. And that motherfucker cursed me.
I have a similar problem. I'm going to be 42 this year, in about 2 months.
Okay.
Both of my parents have passed on.
Yes.
I am a filthy, filthy, degenerate pagan who believes weird monkey mysticism that people can make fun of for not being proper and Christian, and that's fine. But this means that every so often, young people will come up to me and be like, Uncle Rune, can you teach me about the magic? And I'm like, what do you mean? And it's always like magic is dangerous, right? Like I shouldn't try to do magic myself without a teacher, right? It's like, well, what do you mean magic? And then they instantly always say the same things. They want to learn how to make people love them. They want to learn how to be popular. They want to make their
dick bigger.
How to make my dick bigger. They want to make their lives better so they don't have emotional
I've been practicing
problems.
that spell for 35 years.
I know, right? and I constantly have to give them the same tired fucking refrain of why that doesn't work.
You measure the penis from the asshole over the shoulder.
Right. And the thing is not only do I have the immediate feeling thereafter of feeling like my father, who used to give serious lectures, right? But I also have the feeling of being my mother, who had the distinction of being the wise woman that young pagans would go to and be like, Auntie Omalie, would you please tell me how to do magic? And she'd be like, it doesn't work that way, you crystal rubbing dipshit.
Burn some sage and cry.
Right. No, that's exactly the thing. And I explained this to a friend of mine. He's like, well, I could suggest some books. And I'm like, no, I have a system. He's like, well, what's that? I'm like, look, I give them the hard truth, and if they go away because they think that magic is like finding your love interest and your star sign in Maxim, they weren't really into it. If they come back and say, fuck you, Joe, and then ask to know what books to read, I know they're serious.
I mean, that's the classic Oriental master trick.
Right.
Remember,
I mean,
you can fascinate a woman by giving her cheese, Rune.
I mean,
especially if she's white.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, I have found I can fascinate women by saying, you're pretty. And they're like, really? And then they just fall to pieces in front of me.
I know. I still want to film a video of just walking around some town area, just handing women cheese and walking away. Like just a craft single, like still in the plastic with my phone number written on the plastic.
Hold up. You want to step that up. You want to get a higher quality cheese.
No, not for the women I'm going after. Like,
no,
come on.
No. Obviously, if you're going to film it, you make it a bit.
No. You at least have to go up to the craft premium singles where the cheese is a little sturdier.
No, guys. You make it a bit, okay, and you record multiple excursions, same day, right? Different areas, trying different kinds of cheese, and then we science to figure out which cheese gets the highest reaction.
No,
so
that's too much effort, right?
So you start with like handing out Velveeta.
Well, and see, the problem is I figure you only get about 20 minutes of doing this before somebody calls the cops on you.
Well, that's why you go to different areas.
Well, no, but then they're going to send an APB out for some dude handing out cheese to women. And then so you only get like 5 minutes in the next stop.
Hold up.
There's four of us. You have four different people do it.
Hold up, Aaron. What you do is shave, and then you put on blackface, and then people just put on APB for Justin Trudeau.
Wow.
Not only that, but they can't call the cops on you because then that's racist.
True.
Yet again, all of these life hacks are in Minecraft.
except this one.
No. I think we should all give away cheese on the same day just to throw the federal PD off.
Look, I might fall down in a mud puddle and end up covered in mud.
The FBI
you are not going to get me to put on blackface. That ain't going to happen.
The FBI gets the call like, why are people giving out cheese?
But on a related tangent to this, I once had an acquaintance who is involved with the live action role playing game scene.
I'm excited as to how he's going to tie this back into cheese, folks.
Who set the goal for his personal goal for life was to be the Wilt Chamberlain of live action role playing games, which means having sex with 10,000 women he meets at live action role playing games.
Which way, Western man?
So not killed by. So you're saying not killed by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conan the Destroyer?
Right. No, I'm talking about, the thing Wilt Chamberlain alleged to have had sex with 10,000 women in his professional basketball career.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Now, this friend of mine, however, stopped having sex once he became gender fluid.
Now, I would like to go ahead and give everyone the opportunity to get their final thoughts out because for the last little bit, we're going to have the Magic Minute, where I will pontificate on the happenings of Magic the Gathering.
Wait a minute! I thought you had a comic thing.
No. I have a Magic the Gathering thing.
Okay, because we got 15 minutes. We got plenty of time.
No, we don't.
No.
Okay.
No,
you don't understand.
Magic thing's gonna take a while.
Oh, okay.
Magic thing's gonna take a bit.
Okay.
We might go over.
So did you guys see my be participating in a panel discussion of One More Day?
I did not see it, but
I did.
Oh, then I just ignored it. So no.
I unfortunately
link it again at the bottom, and I'll do is I'll download it and listen to it at work.
I mean, you have a sense of what I'm into, Larry, but I really only have 3 days off. So.
Well, no, because you made a comment about that on Wednesday when I was actually on the show, talking about how that happened and how they ruined comic books with Spider-Man and the whole One More Day situation.
Wait a minute, you were there? Did you just not say anything? Were you on Telepathic Bunny?
No.
Okay. Well, because there was talk on Telepathic Bunny about Spider-Man, and I made the argument that they don't let Peter Parker evolve anymore, and they in fact retrograde him because they first moved him back to high school, and then with One More Day they moved him back personality-wise to the 70s, and it's making Peter Parker worse. I don't know why they hate evolution, because people can't relate to it, which is fucking bullshit.
Now I have to find where I put the link because YouTube, in its infinite wisdom, is making it so I can't fucking find links.
Nice. Hey,
I can't even blame Susan anymore. I can't even blame Susan anymore because she's not there.
Well, you can blame Susan because Susan left at the worst possible time for you.
While you look for that, do you guys want to hear about the UFO I saw like an hour before the show?
Go talk about the UFO. Although
they've now determined that was a balloon.
No, like this just happened like tonight. Like I ran up to the gas station to grab an energy drink before the show because I was tired and I'm trying to cut back on drinking. And I live on this back dirt road. There's like a horse farm 2 houses down from me. I'm like in the boonies. So I'm just going, and all of a sudden just bam, huge ass bright light streaks across the sky and then just disappears. Like right in front of me, to the point that I like slammed on my brakes and skidded to a stop and had to sit there and go like, what the fuck was that? Apparently a couple other people in the town saw it after, I put some feelers out on the internet. People are saying it was a meteor. I could kind of see that, but it seemed a little big and close to be a meteor without an airburst afterwards. And it's also cloudy out.
Okay. So after the missing time, Ayrton, after you had your missing time experience, how much did your asshole hurt from the probe?
There was no missing time. Like if you look at my tweet about it, that tweet about it was when I got home from the gas station.
Do you believe that the aliens are trying to breed micro penises?
Well, no.
I mean, have you seen the pictures of them? They don't have any penises.
Yeah. Come on, Rune.
So what that means is that Ayrton is a human. No. Ayrton's actually a human-alien hybrid.
Rune, when I say UFO, I mean that in the most literal sense of the word. There was something in the sky flying, and I don't know what it was.
I know you actually do. I'm being a shitlord. No, I actually appreciate it when someone uses UFO in the military correct nomenclature.
I guess it's flying object.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess what is a UAP? Is that what they also call them now?
Probably. It's
unidentified aerial phenomena.
It's just that so many dumb shits jump to, I saw a UFO, therefore aliens. It's like, you motherfuckers, you saw something you don't know what it is. That doesn't mean it's aliens.
Yeah, it might have been a drone with LEDs, like real bright LEDs on it that somebody was landing quickly. I don't know what it was.
It might have been a Chinese tourist.
But it could have been a Chinese tourist. But yeah, it was fucking crazy. The last thing I was expecting to see when I was just trying to go get some goddamn caffeine.
That's what the government doesn't want you to know. Is that the reason they wouldn't shoot down that plane or that balloon is because it's actually a single Chinese tourist with a camera.
They used a
strapped to it.
$400,000 missile to shoot down that balloon room. Calm down.
Eventually.
And the one that was over Michigan that they shot down, they missed with the first shot. How do you miss a balloon with a missile?
Very easy.
Yeah.
It's not hot enough.
And now we know why there was a train derailment.
Yeah.
I'm
Magic
sorry,
the Gathering.
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast, largest financial.
Rune,
Hey,
mute
gave
yourself when you do that.
Yeah, I gave Rune AIDS again. Get a cough switch.
Oh, God.
Rune's allergic to Wizards of the Coast.
No.
Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, largest financial investment at this point. The thing that keeps them from losing money on D&D has this little property called Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a 30-year-old collectible card game. It's been active since 1993. Yes.
Okay.
It's called Cardboard Crack.
Yes. Basically, it's 15 card lottery tickets. And, occasionally you spend $4 and win 30, and occasionally you spend $4 and lose 30.
That is actually way too fucking accurate because I have never won despite the number of $15 lottery tickets I have gotten.
Yeah, you have to buy the whole box.
Right.
You have to buy the whole box and break even. But occasionally make $5 and feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
It helps if you play the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, their most recent set, Phyrexia All Is One, is kind of a callback, believe it or not, to some of the original Urza Saga era just type.
Or I would say Phyrexia 2, but we already had Phyrexia 2.
No, this is a true Phyrexia 2. The Phyrexia 1.5 is what you're thinking of. When Mirrodin became infected with Phyrexia. This is literally the end of that. But then there was
also new Phyrexia.
No, that was Mirrodin.
No, there's also new Phyrexia.
No, Mirrodin became new Phyrexia.
Right, but new Phyrexia was its own set, whereas the Mirrodin Corruption was a separate set.
No, but the Mirrodin Corruption is based on new Phyrexia. That's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
So, back in the day, you had the original walkers before the Alara shard fucking planar breakage where it depowered sparks and all that good shit. And if you've never played the game, I apologize, but I'm not going to explain all this shit for you. You can look it up yourself or you can tune out. But basically, back in the day, you had all of the powerful planeswalkers, Lord Windgrace, Urza, High Artificer, Teferi, all of them up against Phyrexia because that's how big the threat was. Phyrexia was going to invade the modern plane, the Dominaria plane, and infect everything. Well, fast forward, what would you say, about 15, 20 years, Rune, to Mirrodin block?
God.
That was about 15 years ago, right?
I don't know because
I didn't have kids when Mirrodin block came out, so...
Yeah, I don't know because, of course, Phyrexia is very, very old as a concept. And was around for a long time.
I was talking about Mirrodin block with the new Phyrexia.
Right. Stuff. But I'm just saying, like, my time frame is off because I'm only an intermittent player.
We'll call it 15 years ago.
Yeah, so when I got back in, I was actually picking up, I want to say, old Mercadian Mask leftovers while Mirrodin was happening and not buying new block.
Now, Church, 15 years ago isn't the 90s anymore, right? We're old now.
Yes.
Okay.
No. 15 years ago was 2005-ish, 2008. So that's actually right around the right timeline. The 90s, believe it or not, Ayrton, was the beginning of the card game. It started in 93.
I was making a joke about us being old.
Oh, well, we're not as old as the other two people on the
That's
panel.
true.
So. But Mirrodin was a planet created by a creature named Karn, who's been around since the very beginning of the Dominaria days. And it became corrupted with Phyrexian oil because of Karn. Well, it spawned the new bad guys of Phyrexia called Praetors, The main one being Elish Norn. So apparently, what's happened since I've been away from the story of magic is Elish Norn has devised a way to reach into the blind eternities and spread Phyrexian corruption to all other planes, all of them.
I mean, wasn't that always the goal?
It was, but it was never pulled off by Yawgmoth, which is kind of a fucking big deal.
Well, I mean, it makes fucking sense. Remember, Yawgmoth is a giant demon and is insane.
Well, let me get to that point, because there's recently been a lot of reprintings of Yawgmoth's card.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm actually wondering, well, let me get to that in a minute. So Elish Norn, the big bad, is able to reach into the plane of all existence and spread her corruption from the artifact world of Mirrodin all the way over to Eldraine, the fairy tale world, to New Capenna, which is like the mafioso Roaring Twenties world.
Oh God, I hate that.
Oh no, New Capenna was great.
Though. Oh no, I've played it. I understand why it's neat. I still hate it. Just like I hate how there's a brand new what is it? Kamigawa set that is cyberpunk.
Oh, Neo Kamigawa Neon. Oh, it's so good.
No, it's stupid. It's cashing.
No, they gave us a Shrine Commander rune.
I understand that there are mechanical reasons to like it, but it's just cashing in on Cyberpunk 2077. It's fucking garbage.
I don't know. I mean, being able to ninjutsu in a Blightsteel Colossus is pretty great.
Look, on Arena, I'm currently running a ninja deck. I can't judge. I'm just saying it's garbage.
Anyway, so we've got the fairy tale world, we've got the Kamigawa world, we've got New Capenna, which is the Roaring Twenties, we've got Theros, where the Greek gods were basically on display. Phyrexia corrupted and defeated the Greek gods.
I mean, Theros is where my boy comes from.
Which one?
A Johnny Proudmane.
Oh,
I've gotten a Johnny Proudmane.
You're not a Xenagos guy?
A who?
Xenagos, god of revels, the satyr god.
No. I'm a Johnny Proudmane and Soren.
Soren Markov.
Guy. Yeah, those are my boys.
You're an Innistrad, and okay.
Yeah, look, my preferred play colors are red black, and I play blue black decks to be an asshole.
But a Johnny's a white walker.
Yeah, but when you go through my decks, you will find that the trend is always black and something. So it's either black white, black blue, black red.
You'll have to buy him a drink first.
Yeah, mine's always green and something, so I get it.
Right. Well, that's like sometimes I will do a green-red deck. Sometimes I will do a white-blue deck.
Anyway, you get flavor text from all the shitty tap lands that tap for 2 colors and come into play tapped and have no special abilities. They all have flavor text depicting on how New Phyrexia has basically infected all of the multiverse.
Which means it can infect D&D now.
Well, technically, Forgotten Realm, no, it has. Because the Forgotten... Well, no.
Magic is a setting being its own thing, yes, but where WotC is perpetually fucked up is failing to understand that they need to both port Magic the Gathering to D&D, and the book they do it with needs to be a quality book.
And not only that, but it needs to have a card that is guaranteed to be high value on the secondary market, printed and included with the book.
I mean, that would be smart. I would even say it's either an adventure card or it's a one of the what are they?
You do a D&D style frame.
Right. No, I'm saying the card.
And you just reprint anything. It doesn't have to be any particular card. Like you, because they do this thing now, Rune, where let me see if I can find one.
Okay, what I was proposing, Church, was like, they give you a book. The book has setting material in it, and in the back it has an adventure because that's standard D&D practice, right? And then the card is a card version of that adventure, because for the D&D block they had an adventure card mechanic where you could go into a dungeon with clerics and fighters and Fufara to attain various accomplishments.
Let me see if this will pull up. I need to find a high res version of
I'm
this.
I'm surprised to find out that I am more geeky on this subject than I thought I was, because Church and I are having a conversation about it.
Well, there's this new thing they're doing now, and I think I just found a good example of it. Let me see if I can open the image. There we go. Perfect.
There we
That's
go.
what I wanted. All right, so Magic is doing this thing now where they have like promo cards and specialty cards where this Sorin the Mirthless is actually titled Count Dracula, but it's still Sorin the Mirthless.
Right. I've got the Godzilla version of that.
Right. Okay. So I don't understand why they couldn't have a main character from the module replace a planeswalker this high value.
Oh,
or something similar, like maybe do a doubling season with a different title or something of that nature. But you do a D&D specific card frame, this extended art, it's got a special hollowing to it. And the only way to get it is to spend $50 on this fucking book.
Right. And
only in the first edition of that book to guarantee it sells out, right?
But see, that's the thing, is that they did a Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica book.
Mm-hmm.
And I consistently shit on it because it's garbage.
But it would have sold gangbusters if they would have put a Jace the Mind Sculptor in it. Because I guarantee that book cost less than Mind Sculptor did at the time.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. The reason that book was garbage is that it talks about the plane very briefly, and then it gets to mechanical content. The mechanical content is 3/4 reprint from other sources, right? And then the back end is just an adventure you're not going to run, right? There's very little material where they don't, like, say, give each guild its own subsection to talk about at great length. They don't describe hierarchy. They don't describe interaction. They don't get into the politics of Ravnica in any great length. They don't do any of the things to make you really want to give a shit about Ravnica. If they were going to do like classic Magic the Gathering, and you wanted to make people give a shit about Phyrexia as extant.
But hold on, no. I'm sincerely curious about this because Wizards did a great job of doing that on the Magic side of things. Like, we had hundreds of pages of information on Ravnica from the Magic side of things.
They absolutely had the tools and did not use them.
Basically, the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica came off as a slightly less interesting version of Planescape.
I mean, here's the big one.
Well, okay? Planescape was garbage to begin with, and they're bringing it back for the new set that's coming out, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, here's the big one. Okay, this is the biggest mistake in WotC's history, almost bigger than the OGL thing. All right, you're doing a Magic the Gathering flavored book, right? You're going to do Theros, you're going to do Ravnica, whatever you're going to do, and you're going to give options for characters from Magic the Gathering settings, but you don't have a wizard or sorcerer class or an entirely separate brand new class or a prestige class or any other mechanics for fucking planeswalkers. No mechanics whatsoever. You don't have a spell for planeswalking. You don't have a structure for planeswalking. You can't have the spark in D&D in a game owned by the people who tell you how to have the spark in fucking Magic the Gathering.
That's infuriating.
I don't know why, but this just feels like racism time.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
It's racist against gamers.
also, quite
people
honestly,
of game. Hogs?
Why isn't there mechanics to just say, okay, take this Magic the Gathering card and it will give you these stats for a creature?
Or, a spell.
Right.
A way to incorporate paying mana for a character. Or harvesting mana from your surroundings to use for later spells.
Well, that's the thing. That's the fucking thing.
We're developing a whole new game here, folks.
Well, here's the thing.
Wizards of the Coast should buy off of us.
Here's the thing. Okay, you don't want to make a new class because a new class would be a problem. All right, fine. Make it a background. Make Planeswalker a background, and its special effect is the ability to draw, quote, mana as spell points like a sorcerer does from the terrain you're in.
and
then
hold it to cast spells in combat.
Right, and then style it based after the 5 colors.
And you can use magic cards to do this. As you're harvesting that mana, you're given so many cards of that mana's color.
And you style it after the 5 colors based on the environment you're in, so that just like a druid of the land who gets different spells based on where he is, you get various special effects, but only in elementally appropriate environments. Which means if you're in a dungeon, it's black mana, people. You can't use it unless you're doing black mana shit.
Well, that's actually just swamps. It depends on the location of the dungeon. If you're in a dwarven dungeon, it would be red mana.
Possibly. But I'm just saying, it works on a mechanical premise, and WotC didn't do it.
And they're going to watch the show and do it and not pay us for it. But anyway,
not only did they not do it, okay. But remember, those assholes who are mismanaging their OGL and want to make a virtual tabletop and are putting out a shit movie, those people get paid more money than I will ever see in my lifetime.
Yes.
To sit on their ass and do nothing but this, and they fail at it. How dare they?
And Rune said we're good. We have 15 minutes left.
I knew we were not going to make 15 minutes.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, Ayrton, do what you do so well.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, that's that shit I love.